Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. We're going to go through these. I'm looking for usability, whether all the pages are present, the content, layout, basically assignment being followed through. And I'll look at these as if I'm a first-time visitor to the site, even though I've looked at them already. Let's jump in. London, nice. The image loaded a little slowly, so you know it's a great sharp image. The focus is strong. You may want to double check and see if it can be optimized so that it loads a little quicker. Typically, we left a line. This isn't bothering me too much because of the shape that it's making, but sometimes lines will be shorter than others and it won't work out very well, so you might want to think about that. Okay. And your vertical spacing is consistent, except here we're a little low there. This might be a little closer than it is up here. Okay. You're linked up, good job. You have 3 fonts that you're working with. This one is a little different from that one. And let's just check real quick. Okay, Avener 16 point. And this is light. .22 and possibly sometimes what it will do is it will check the space of the template, the line spacing, and show you something totally different. But this looks like 15, 15, 20, 19. I'm not sure why that's slightly smaller. That's 22, 22. Okay. You've got Cormoran Garmon and Aberetto and Avener. Okay, so 3 fonts. Because your page is clean and we don't have you put too much on it, it's working all right. Just want you to be aware of it. Okay, so that's a point size different to look into. And I feel like there's a little bit of a space there. Might close up when you make that 19. Okay, or you can make them all 20. All right, let's look at your contact page. Nice. Good. I do like seeing when you're, going into a little bit of design work and color. You're not required to keep everything as simple as we give it to you, but what we give you will be accessible, and that's something you want to make sure you watch. So if you're going to really play around with design, which I encourage you to do, duplicate your site so that when you are checking next week for your accessibility, you can use the site that we've helped you build, and we know that that's going to be functioning, and you shouldn't have a lot of broken things to correct for accessibility. But that doesn't mean that in your duplicated site you can't at that time also make sure that it's accessible. Okay, just want to warn you about that. Okay, let's look at the mobile. It's a good color combination. This feels larger now that we've gotten over here. So double check the heading sizes that you have. All right. I'm not really able to check the size when you're immobile here. Consider left aligning to have a nice straight edge. Okay. That is loading a little slowly, so it might need to be optimized at some point. All right. Nice work. Good job, London. So our next one, Taylor. Great image and the right amount of text. We do have to scroll quite a bit, and you may want to move this over a little, just a little, and consider that I'm looking at the 100% full screen, the actual size. So make sure everybody is working in that size. It will look different otherwise. Okay, you want consistent vertical spacing. It's okay to have a group, if that's what you're doing here, where these have the same and these have the same. Just want to make sure that everything else is identical so it doesn't look like it's unintentional. Okay. The header is a little deep. So there are things you could do. You could put this on one line with this, and you could make this slightly smaller, and then you'll be able to also drag this up a little bit so we're getting into the content just a little more. I mean, spacing is good, but maybe this much is a little better. Yeah. All right. You can make your footer not quite so deep also. Make sure we're looking at consistent font styles. I would consider, so we have 3, 4. That's a little much. When we look at your about, what are we using here? Helvetica. Yeah. So you might consider what it would look like to pick this font up again. Right? Maybe even here in your navigation. But we do want to stick with primarily a heading font and a body copy font, and that will help tie everything together. Let's look at the mobile. Let's see, did we already look at this one? No. All right. You can close that up a little bit. It's a good place to put your social medias, at least right here. You may want to have a YouTube channel, but also a LinkedIn is something that we look for here. Maybe close that. You can also put your image at the top if you choose. Yeah. Okay. You want to close this up. Okay. All right, so you do have those, so you just need to close this, some of the spacing up a little bit. All right. Great job. Nice work. Super close. Your layout is really pretty well organized, and it looks like your films are relevant to the work that you're trying to get. So nice work. Right, Travis. I like the color, and it is legible. You have this background here. I'm not sure what this is. If it is a company name, if it is, it needs to be registered with the state and be currently registered for the year. Any fees and things like that. But apart from whether it's actual or not, it is still competing, right? It would need to really drop in transparency. That would be important. Speaking of transparency, let's go in and select your header and design it with a 100% opacity with 0 transparency so that we're not overlapping content like here or text, right? Otherwise, great page. I like the way you have your descriptions laid out for this. Love this shot. I think that's a really great image. Black and white quality, really strong. You might try and get a little space underneath here, just a little align space. And so you can see where that happens here. Okay. I think you should make this a capital P, take out the word and. So it's professionally known as Suave, or I'm an independent director, filmmaker base, Metro, okay. So I would remove and capitalize the P, and it's going to feel a little more natural. And okay, may want to move this in just a little. I just feel like we've got some space in places. So, but this is just such a great image. Loving that. Okay. A little space here. So we have director, but we have music visionary. So music director. So you might want to say music director up here, because we see director, we don't know what direction you're going in, but this is different. This kind of goes in a different area, and it confuses me when I land here exactly what service you're giving. You want to make sure this is centered, your footer, content. This isn't giving off the same style. They're both, except for, this competing, which would be better if it were not there. But aside from that issue, the only thing is we are going into some really warm natural colors here, and we've got your cool slate stainless look here. And so I would think you should make a choice, and I think this should probably be your choice because this is carrying so much of your style here. Make sure you rename this slide so that when screen readers go over, it'll be renamed. You'll be doing that next week anyway. But yeah, maybe you want to back up and get some of that cooler color here. Okay. All right. Nice work. Be sure this is a free mobile, a free Google Voice number and not your personal number. And you will probably next week, when you're looking at accessibility, it will probably flag the contrast here. So you should probably go ahead and increase that contrast. And yeah, otherwise looking good. Let's look at the mobile on this one. I think you want to close that up a little bit. Here you've gone towards the warm, and that supports some of your, your project page a little better, but I think, yeah, we're cutting this off. That should probably be moved, and then a choice should be made. Remove the background. A choice should be made between this color combination or this style. This may be flagged for contrast. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that's a choice that you'll want to make. And, you could stay in this cool family up here, which is just very similar to this, but for some reason it's feeling, and it could just be the red icon here too. But it's a little conflicting here. Okay, so this is an issue immediately on the home page. They're taken away from your website. So we don't really want to do that. That link should be probably on your project page at the bottom to view or something, but not straight on your home page, because now they're not going to look at anything else and they won't see that great about profile photograph. But yeah, this is getting a little cluttered here, so that's the bigger thing. All right, great job, everybody. Really pleased with this class. I've seen some really clean sites that will function well and that you can continue to build on. All right, great job.